And from the lowest of lows to a man who experienced what has to be the highest of highs, I'm with Funny Cars' Matt Hagan, as Roger Brogdon, as well as Greg Stanfield are on the racetrack now, continuing pro stock qualifying. But I want to reflect on last week's performance of the diehard car. The first sub 4-second run, you backed it up while running 322 miles an hour. A dream weekend. Could you even dream that scenario?
Absolutely not. We rolled into Charlotte, just hoping to have a good race, trying to get that first win off our back and, trying to make some momentum in this countdown. Never, obviously it worked out great, but couldn't have planned it any better, couldn't have dreamed it any better. And for us to go out there, run 399 on Friday night and then back it up on race day, first round at 322 miles an hour with a 401 lap, it just seems like it was meant to be. Sometimes you just can't do anything wrong in these race cars, and other times the race car runs over your heart. It's one of those weekends that you just was a fairy tale ending for us. And I really do feel like it was one of those big milestones left to break in drag racing. And when they came out there, I had no idea. They put my name on the wall. It really set in how
that's cool.
How special this really was. Because me and Tommy, we both kind of blew it off like, all right, that's great. Let's, we got a race to worry about. And when they went out there and did that, it truly set in for me, and I think it set in for Tommy Delago what he had accomplished, and how hard it was to do that. So just a phenomenal weekend, an amazing outcome to that event.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, capped off with the race win. Out of a possible 150 points that any competitor can get on a weekend, the man got 147 and moved from 6th to 2nd. Now I have to ask you about dealing with emotions of really the first 16 being in that 6th spot without any wins, how deflated you potentially were to how inflated you are now that we're in the countdown.
Sure, it wears on you. You definitely want to get that win. There was a couple times during the year we sure already had 2 wins. That was my fault. I own up to it. I got beat on a hole shot one time, and then I red lit another time. And you hate that for your guys because they work so hard. They do the job right every time. Tommy does a good job, and and sometimes it's them, and sometimes it's going to be me. And that's just a part of being a team and racing. And I think that if you can own up to it, learn from it, and place one foot forward and move forward, and get another win under your belt, you're showing that you're making progress, and that's kind of what we did there. And I just I can't say enough about how good my guys are doing. They're really working hard. They're beating this car out and putting it back together, and just doing a phenomenal job with it. So to get that win for them, to be able to share that and kind of jump up and down and say, we got this, boys, that was really cool.
And when Matt Hagan wins, man, just look at those eyes. Those eyes are on kill as well. Kurt Johnson was also a big winner, non-countdown car, but he talked about his text messages blowing up, his Facebook account, everything blowing up. What was your week like?
Yeah, it was kind of the same way. It was one of those weeks where you wish you could make it last 2 or 3 more weeks. I told my wife, I said when I got back home, I feel like when I take my little 4-year-old boy into a candy shop and you just get all giddy inside, you're so excited about it, and for it to happen during the countdown was really cool. But we have to really put it in perspective. That's our first race that we've won. We're not really out here doing anything that anybody else hasn't done. So we really have to stay grounded. I mean, you look at this weekend here in Dallas, we're having a clutch gremlin in our bell housing, and, we've basically wasted 3 runs trying to figure it out. So highs of highs, lows of lows. This thing, like I said, it makes you feel like you're on top of the world. Come out the next weekend and it runs over your heart,
That's probably a pretty smart move by this team, just to kind of let that weekend go and move on. But Mike and Paul, we're going to remember that weekend for a long, long time.
Never going to forget it.